Hi everyone, I hope you're okay, and I really hope that guys the videos we keep uploading are helping you out now. In this video guys, I'm about to do the chemistry exam, which was written in November 2023 rather, excuse me. Just know that guys, I've already answered paper 1. I'll just put the link in the description. You can just go and watch the full playlist. You can download the question paper, answer the questions with me. If you are done, and then you can come and join me here. And I really hope that guys the videos are helping you out. There's a thing or two that you are learning. Just stay tuned guys. Subscribe if you are new. Don't forget to like and share the videos. That will help us grow a channel, and maybe we can be able to reach a lot of learners. Okay, question 1, we're dealing with multiple choice now. Okay, the first question says which one of the following represents a straight chain saturated hydrocarbon? There's only one saturated hydrocarbon that we have, and that hydrocarbon is called an alkane. Are we together? So the general formula for alkanes, it says CnH2n plus 2. Are we together? Whenever I check these, there's only one option that respects that general formula. That option is option D. Why am I saying that? Because I have C 6 and the H is 14, so I can break down 14 as 2 multiplied by 6 plus 2. This will give me C6 H14. So D is the only saturated hydrocarbon that I have here. Okay, and the IUPAC name for C is hexane. Which one of the following is a secondary alcohol? A secondary alcohol have the OH ions bonded to a carbon which is bonded to 2 other carbons. Are you together? We'll have a situation like this. The carbon that contains an OH ion is bonded to 2 other carbons like this. Are you together? So the first thing I need to notice, I don't want to see the OH ions on the terminal end. Are you together? These two are already out of the conversation. Why? Because I have my OH ions at the terminal end. Okay, and then secondly, this one is not even an alcohol. This one is an aldehyde. Why am I saying that? Because the terminal carbon is only bonded with OH. It simply means we have something like this, O and then H, and then the chain continues. Are you together? So the only secondary alcohol we have is compound D. Why? The OH ion is bonded to the carbon which is bonded to other 2 carbons with other 2 adjacent carbons. Are you together? So the only secondary alcohol that we have is D. So we are going with D. Okay, now let's move to 1.3. We are being asked which one of the following is a hydrolysis reaction. Hydrolysis reaction is a substitution reaction number 1, whereby you are removing a halogen on an organic compound, replacing it with the hydroxide ion. Are you together? So on my reactants I want to see a haloalkane, and on my products I simply want to see an alcohol. Are you together? And I must have a substitution. There's only one option whereby I have a haloalkane as a reactant, and then on the products I have an alcohol. That's A. Are you together? They've reacted bromoethane with water, and then the products we got ethanol and HBr as our inorganic compound which was formed. So the only option here that represents hydrolysis is A. Are we together? Okay. And then now you're told that hydrochloric acid reacts with with excess zinc. Okay, that's the reaction. We have zinc solid plus hydrochloric acid. It will give us zinc chloride and hydrogen gas. Okay, and then we are told that different reaction conditions are shown below in the diagram. The mass of zinc used is the same in both tubes. Okay, the only difference here is that here the zinc was converted into powder. Here it's just lumps, it's just in granules. Are you together? So in test tube X, they have increased the state of division of the zinc, or you can say they have increased the surface area of the zinc. Are you together? And then in test tube Y, the only thing that they did was to take the zinc as granules and then increase the volume of our acid. Are you together? So the first thing that you need to know, okay, the question says, how will the initial rate of reaction and the final volume of hydrogen gas produced in test tube Y compare with that's in test tube X? Now, the first thing that you need to know, the rate of reaction in test tube Y will be lower than the rate of reaction in test tube X. Why am I saying that? Because in test tube X they've increased the state of division of zinc, and an increase in the state of division will always increase the rate of reaction. Are you together? So the reaction in test tube X will be faster than the one in test tube Y. Hence here the only answers we are going to look for are these two. Are you together? Why? Because they are telling us that the rate of reaction here is lower than the one here. Are you together? And then now we must focus on the production of hydrogen gas. Okay, they've increased the volume. Whenever you increase the volume, you decrease the pressure, and always the time whenever you decrease the pressure, you will favor the side with the most number of gas moles. Are you together? The right hand side has the most number of gas moles. Are you together? So the fourth reaction will be favored, and hence there will be more hydrogen gas molecules which are formed. So these two are the ones that make sense to me. So I'll go with B. Are you together? Okay, and then now let's go to 1.5. We are told that the diagram below represents a mixture of nitrogen dioxide gas as well as nitrogen peroxide at equilibrium in a 1 cubic decimeter container at temperature T. Okay, we are given an illustration that shows the quantity of the NO2 molecules. Okay, we have many of them, and then we also have the quantity of the products as well. We can see that, okay, the products are lesser than the reactants. And remember that whenever you calculate our equilibrium constant, you simply say the concentration of products all over the concentration of reactants. Are you together? So in this case, I can see that my reactants are more than the products. Are you together? So in such a way that my denominator will be more than my numerator. So that means I will have a proper fraction, and every proper fraction is just a number which is just between 0 and 1. So I'll go with D. Why? The products are smaller than the reactants, and my reactants are at the denominator whenever I calculate Kc. That means the Kc ratio that I'll have will be a proper fraction, and a proper fraction is just a number which is between 0 and 1. Okay, and then now we are told that a reaction is at equilibrium in a closed container according to the following balanced reaction. Okay, the volume of the container is now increased while the temperature remains constant. A new equilibrium is reached. Which one of the following combinations is correct for the new equilibrium? Okay. For the new equilibrium, I know that the concentration of my oxygen will just remain the same. Are you together? So the possible answers I should look for. Firstly, they didn't tamper with our temperature. Are you together? So I can choose A, B, or C, because if you don't tamper with temperature, the equilibrium constant will remain the same. Are you together? I will choose the row rather that has the most number of ticks. Are you together? So in this case, I also know that they haven't added more concentration of oxygen. So the concentration of oxygen will just remain the same. Are you together? But now what they did was to increase the volume. Whenever you increase the volume, you decrease the pressure. And when you decrease the pressure, you always favor the side with the most number of gas moles. Are you together? On the left hand side, we don't have gases, but on the right hand side, we do have gases, right? So what will happen here? We'll see that the change here, an increase in volume will favor the forward reaction. Whenever the forward reaction is favored, it simply means that there will be more number of moles of oxygen which will be formed. Are you together? So the number of moles of oxygen will increase. So we can see that row C has the most number of ticks. That means I'll go with answer C as my final answer. Okay, and then now we are told that nitric acid and ethanoic acid of equal volumes and concentrations are compared. Okay, since these two have equal volumes and concentrations, that means they have the same number of moles. Okay, consider the following statements regarding these solutions. Number one, they have different pH values. Yes, that's true, because we have a strong acid and a weak acid. Are we together? For a strong acid, I'm expecting the pH value which is between 0 and 4, and then for a weak acid, I'm expecting a pH value which is between 4 and 7. Are you together? No, for strong acid is 0 and 3, and then for weak acid it's just 4 and 7. So they will have different pH values. Number one. Okay, that's correct. Both have the same electrical conductivity. No, that's not correct. Remember that we get electronic conductivity by the number of ions, which or rather the concentration of ions that we produce. Are we together? Nitric acid is a strong acid, which simply means it ionizes completely. That means it will give a higher concentration of the hydronium ions as compared to the ethanoic acid. So they don't have the same electrical conductivity. Are you together? And then both solutions require the same number of moles of potassium hydroxide for complete neutralization. Yes. Why am I saying that? Because whenever you take nitric acid, react it with potassium hydroxide, you'll simply have HNO3 plus KOH. This will give us potassium nitrate plus water. Are you together? You can see that the ratio is just 1:1. Same thing applies with ethanoic acid. I have HC3 it's CH3COOH plus KOH. This will give us CH3COOK plus water. We can see that the ratio is still 1:1. So this statement is true. So the only statements which are true here is statement number 1 and statement number 3. So I'll go with answer C here. Are we together? And then for 1.8, we are told that the apparatus in the diagram below is used for the titration between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. Okay, in the titration, the learner accidentally exceeds the endpoint. Which one of the following will be true for the titration mixture? Okay, the learner uses this apparatus to pour the acid inside the solution. Are you together? So if the learner exceeds the endpoint, it simply means that the learner has poured too much acid inside the container here. Are you together? So since we have too much acid, number 1, that means we will have hydronium ions in excess and our solution will be acidic. Since our solution will be acidic, firstly, I know that my pH will be less than 7. So I'm looking at these two answers. Since I have an acidic solution, my pH will be less than 7. That's number 1. Secondly, whenever my solution has excess hydronium ions, it simply means that the concentration of my hydronium ions will be greater than that of the hydroxide ions. Are you together? So this one simply tells us that the concentration of H plus ions is greater than the one of OH ions. So the correct answer for this one, I'm going with A. Are you together? Okay, now let's go to 1.9. 1.9, we are told that the following hypothetical standard reduction potential relative to a galvanic cell. Okay, we are given two reactions here. Since you have these two reactions, guys, the one which is less positive than the other will be at the anode. Are you together? I'm looking at the standard potentials here. The one which is less positive than the other will be at the anode, and the one which is more positive than the other will be at the cathode. For a galvanic cell, please don't confuse it for the electrolytic cell. Okay, so we have this electrode Y will be at the anode. Why? Because the standard cell here is less positive than the standard cell of electrode X. Are you together? So electrode Y will be at the anode. Okay, so since electrode Y will be at the anode, our EMF, whenever we calculate our EMF, we'll simply say the E cell at the cathode minus the E cell at the anode. Are you together? I'll simply say 0.10 minus a negative 0.10. This will give me 0.20 volts. Are you together? If ever, guys, you just come across a question in galvanic cell and you are being asked to calculate the EMF of the cell, if you find a negative answer, there's something wrong that you did. Okay, so firstly, our EMF, I know that is 20 volts, so the first statement is true. Secondly, I did say that electrode Y is at the anode, so the second statement is true. X is oxidized. No, this is not true. Oxidation always happened at the anode. Are you together? So the only answer that you have here is B, 1 and 2. Okay. Which one of the following reactions below which one of the following reactions below will be the main reaction at the anode during the electrolysis of concentrated copper chloride? Okay, It's concentrated copper chloride. We have copper, and then we have Cl2 ions. So these two will be separated according to the standard reduction table. Okay, we have copper and copper chloride. No, we have copper chloride out together, which simply means that they've used the chlorine gas, and they've also used this guy over here out together. What I can do, I know that I have Cl2 plus 2 electrons. This will give us 2Cl minus. Okay, I don't have to write that. Okay, I know, guys, I'm working with copper 2 plus and Cl minus. For electrolytic cell, guys, it's the opposite. The things that happen in electrolytic cell are opposites of the things that happen in galvanic cell. On the galvanic cell, we said that the one that has a more positive EMF will be at the cathode, but for electrolytic cell, it's the opposite. The one that has the more positive standard cell or the standard potential is the one that's at the anode. Are you together? So since my my chlorine rather is at the anode, my half reaction should be written as 2Cl minus. I will have, this will give me chlorine whenever I give away 2 electrons. So this will be the half reaction that takes place at the anode. So let's go and check whether I do have that reaction there. Okay, yes, I do have that reaction. That's reaction D. So my answer is D. Are you together? And this one happens at the cathode. So that's how, guys, I would have tackled question 1 from the November 2023. If there are things you're not sure about, please write on the comment section. I'll make sure that I come back to you with more clarity. Just stay tuned, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Please tell your peers to come and join us. Yeah, bye-bye.